17:8, you good? And I'm hoping you're good. I'm praying for you, praying that you're walking with God and that God will give you strength, that God is guiding, directing, and protecting you. Welcome back. If you're watching this, you are viewing in with 17:8 Ministries, where we are here to help you as you walk with God. Listen, this video, I believe, is going to empower you, it's going to inspire you, and it's going to encourage you as you continue to walk with God. Do me a favor, subscribe to us, 17:8 Ministries, on YouTube, and send this to somebody else. Send this to 2 or 3 people and tell them to lock in with 17:8 as we do our best to try to help you as you walk with God. Welcome to our book study. Recently got this book, Respectable Sins by Jerry Bridges, and I could not hold this jewel back, but we got to study this thing together. Here it is. Here's the question. Are you a respectable sinner? Christians talk a lot about sin, especially what we like to refer to as bad stuff, such as doing drugs or stealing. But what about the sins that Christians tend to overlook or tolerate in their own lives? These are what we call respectable sins, like pride, anger, anxiety. Jesus died to set us free from sin, even the sneaky, respectable kind. But before that can happen, we have to get honest, which is what this book is all about. It's a chance to explore good Christian sin and what to do when you recognize it in your life. Listen, I promise, chapter 1 is on the way, and lock in with us. Subscribe, share this to somebody else, and this series, I promise you, it's going to bless you. Okay, let me read to you this. If you spend any time at all around churches, you know what sin is. It's the bad stuff, the wrong actions and attitudes that go against God. We know murder is a sin, right? Lying and cheating are sins. Sleeping around is sin. So is being greedy and exploiting people and ignoring the poor. Most Christians I know would agree on those. So would many non-Christians. But what about the sin that isn't so obvious? What about the sin that we downplay or excuse or don't even notice in our own lives? That's what we call respectable sin. You could also call it sneaky sin or subtle sin or good Christian sin, because it's the kind that trips up good, respectable, Bible reading people. People who grew up in church and gave their lives to Christ. People in Sunday school and youth group. People like you, maybe. People definitely like me. Most believers I know would never dream of murdering someone or robbing a bank. But what about talking about someone behind his or her back? Or thinking that we're better than someone else, or getting annoyed and lashing out sarcastically, or being jealous when someone else gets something that we want. For a checklist of common respectable sins, we're going to turn to another page and we'll read that later. These are all sins, even if they don't seem like biggies like robbery or murder. And they're the sins that many good Christians minimize. Some of us even get so worked up about other people's bad sin or the sinful society that we live in that we completely overlook the sin in our own lives. This makes many of us hypocrites as well as sinners. It also keeps us stuck in our sin because we've got to get real about sin before we can break free from it. That's what this book is for. It's so we can get real about our sin so God can deliver us from it. If you want to be free, join in with us on this series as we walk through this book, Respectable Sins. The good news of the gospel is that in the end, God wins and sin loses. But we need to take sin seriously, even the sneaky, respectable kind. To God be the glory. Listen, walk with us. It's the truth about anger, jealousy, worry, and other stuff we accept. Walk with us. Respectable sins. I promise you, it'll bless and help you as you walk with God.